Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Premier League football is finally back, international breaks are finally over, up until the Euros, I think. I don't think we have another internationals now. I think we're done. So for the rest of this season, we go all guns blazing. And boy, oh boy, is this weekend going to be a cracker. Because not only are we seeing, well, Chelsea play tomorrow. And I think we're excited because we've forgotten the pain that they've put us through. But they're back tomorrow. And look, we're back against Burnley. So it's one thing to look forward to. Thursday is Manchester United. That's where it gets a little tasty. We'll see. But also, Sunday, big 6-pointer. Manchester City versus Arsenal. Top of the table clash, basically. There's 1 point in it between the three teams, Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City. It's winner takes all at this point. It's getting there. So, look, it's going to be one hell of a weekend, that's for sure. But we're going to focus on Chelsea. Other news that's kicked off today has been absolutely incredible, and I couldn't get another video out to make this a double upload, but we're going to spend a minute or so on this. Xabi Alonso has confirmed that he is staying at Bayer Leverkusen for next season. And I think it's pretty obvious where this is going now. It's pretty clear. I think we've got our answer in terms of what does the future hold for Xabi Alonso. He will not be going to Bayern Munich. He will not be going to Liverpool. Sorry, Liverpool. You had all your eggs in that basket. That's not worked out. Anyway, Xabi Alonso is sticking it out. He's going to win the Bundesliga, I think, pretty clearly. You never know, but I reckon he'll win it. Go as far as he can in the Europa League. Can he win the Europa League? We'll see. I do think that him and Bayer Leverkusen are up there with Liverpool as favourites. I think we'll get a Liverpool-Bayer Leverkusen final. That would actually be quite hilarious. And then next season, he's going to take them in the Champions League. So, another campaign to defend the title possibly, and the Champions League run. Then we're going to see what he's truly made of in terms of the highest level at as a manager. But then, the Real Madrid job is lurking. Because we know that 2025 is where we might not have Ancelotti as Madrid manager any longer. So, this could be the pathway that he's looking to go down. Bayer Leverkusen to Real Madrid. No in between. Goes straight to the top. Yeah, no waiting. But you know what? He did explain that he reckons it's best to stay one more year. He's still got a job to do at Bayer Leverkusen. And he wants to develop as a coach this way and have a little bit of continuity. And I agree. In that aspect, I absolutely agree. I think he's taken the wisest decision here because he's got time. He's got all the time in the world. So, wise decision from Xabi Alonso and no pressure. He gets to test himself with Champions League football next season and try and defend the league. We'll see how he does. But it means that Liverpool are now looking elsewhere and Bayern Munich are now looking elsewhere. And the rumours that are starting to go all over the place, well, Liverpool apparently interested in Ruben Amorim. We'll see what happens there. He's got a 12 million release clause apparently. Bayern Munich are interested in Nagelsmann. Yes, Nagelsmann, who just left. And apparently there's interest. So Nagelsmann as well as De Zerbi, who Liverpool also have on their list apparently, which I find, to be honest, crazy because it's a huge gamble and it's a huge risk. And this is why I don't want Chelsea going for De Zerbi because it could just blow up in your face very easily. A Nagelsmann now, absolutely. Even a Ruben Amorim is risky to a sense, but I feel less risky than De Zerbi. Ruben Amorim has actually somewhat got a CV there at least. Although he hasn't fulfilled what I said he needed to do this season so far. I wanted him to go all the way in the Europa League and show me that he's got some European pedigree. He's reached the final. I thought, take it one step further. They got eliminated. So there's that. But on top of that, there's the league campaign, so we see how he does in Portugal to finish the season off. But he could be going to Liverpool. But Nagelsmann possibly back on the cards for Bayern Munich, man. As time passes, I wish more and more that we ended up with Nagelsmann. As time passes. But anyway, we're good. You know what? Now we're going to talk Chelsea. We're coming to the Chelsea-Burnley preview now properly. Do not be surprised if we're just going to keep Poch. One or two things going to happen next season or in the summer. We're going to keep Poch or we're going to get De Zerbi. Pick one. That's how I see it's going. Honestly, I don't see any other outcome here. It's one of the two, and I'm not in accordance with any. I think it's crazy. But let me know your thoughts. Now, as we deal with the here and now, Chelsea versus Burnley. You know what? We're coming back playing Premier League football. Internationals are done. We're quite happy about that. But I have to be honest, there's not much to really discuss on this game. Because let's be real here, yeah? Chelsea could be in the gutter, and I'd still come on here and say, you know what? I think we're beating Burnley. There's not much to really, anticipate in terms of a shock. Could we bottle this? Or even if we win, what's it going to mean? Is this going to be huge? I don't think so. I think it's a standard game. Yeah, we can get 3 points. I think we will get 3 points. And it will keep us in and around the same sort of position. Now, that is going to depend on the Newcastle and Wolves games because they're 1 and 2 points ahead of us respectively. Respectively, not respectfully. And that's where we might be lingering anywhere between 9th and 11th by the end of this weekend, which is why I'm telling you guys, there's not much to say. We've got injuries. Burnley don't, so that's one thing to consider. However, like I've said, I think we're going to get a win. I know the league table says that we've got 2 games in hand, but we have to be cautious here. The 2 games in hand are Arsenal and Tottenham. The Arsenal game has already been rescheduled. We know when we're playing Arsenal. The Tottenham game has not been rescheduled. That has got to fit in. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to try and check this up and pull this up now. I think the Tottenham game, the Arsenal game is on the 23rd of April. I think somewhere in between Aston Villa and West Ham, we might get Tottenham. So what could possibly happen? Because that's a week gap, and that is where I think they might be able to fit it in. Or even the 4th and the 11th, or the 11th to the 19th. But that's too late on. I don't know. That's to the end of the season. They're not going to do that. I reckon we could end up in a situation where we play Man City semi-final, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Tottenham. Don't be surprised. So this is why these sort of games now are must-wins. And I know we've been saying that for the whole of the last 2 years. Must win, must win, must win, must win, must win. But that's the situation we're in. That's what we've put ourselves in. That's what we've come to. We're 11th. The 2 games in hand are there, like I said. But those are the 2 games we've got to play. We play Burnley tomorrow. We got to win. Now, injuries, we've got to cover a few players here. Ben Chilwell I don't think is going to play. Pochettino's already made that pretty clear, that he's come back with a problem. He was surprised he played both games for England, and all of that. So I don't think he'll play. Cole Palmer, apparently he's being looked at because he came back with a knock. Now, I expect him to play. I expect him to start, but that's one to take into consideration. Apart from that, it's the names that we've already known about from the last 2 days, and especially yesterday. Malo Gusto is okay. He had a virus, but apparently he's recovered, so he'll be fine. Chukwuemeka, Chalobah, and Sanchez are all sidelined, apparently. But Chalobah trained, and he trained today as well. So I don't know how this one's going to work out. Chukwuemeka's out. Sanchez is out. We know this. Lavia is beyond out. And the other players we already know about. Chalobah is someone to keep an eye on. I think what's going to happen, if I have to predict it, I think Chalobah will be on the bench. I think he'll be available, but he won't play. And for that reason, we will address what I think is going to happen, or what I will do in terms of the centre-back pairing, because Badiashile is available. And Thiago Silva is there. We know this, but I'll explain all when I get into the starting 11. Apart from that, there's no one else except one that no one's really spoken about. And except in the press conference, it was mentioned briefly, but it doesn't mean that he's out, although I think he's going to be. But don't be surprised if he's not. Enzo Fernandez. Enzo came back very late. Enzo played a game on Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning for us in the UK. So he's only, I think, had 1 training session. He had to fly back from South America, long flight. Basically on Thursday, I think trained today once. I don't know if he's going to feature. don't be surprised if he's on the pitch, but personally, at the same time, it would be a bit crazy to just stick him in when he's gone through that. But then again, who have we got? This is where I get into the starting 11. Before I do, Burnley, Datro Fofana, who's been giving goals to Burnley as of late, he won't play because he can't play against his parent club, which is us. Which means that the goal scorer they've been relying on for the last 2 games and where they've managed to get some goals and they've got good results is not going to be featuring. Apart from that, Lyle Foster returned before the international break, and they've got long-term absentees, including Aaron Ramsey, who's not played, and they're not going to play. Nathan Redmond as well. So that's the Burnley news. Let's get into the starting 11 and how I think we're going to, not how I think we're going to approach this, how I would approach this. This is strictly how I would approach things. Let's get into it. Here's my starting 11. Right, so let's start off in goal. Kepa. I love that joke. Petrovic in goal for sure. Sanchez isn't available. To be honest, that's not really an event. It's more like a non-event. Sanchez isn't available. Okay, cool. But Petrovic is, so he plays. For me, he's the number 1 of this season. So Petrovic is starting. Centre backs. This is where it gets interesting. Disasi's definitely in there. Some would say don't. Some would say yes. We have to be honest. He's our most reliable player. He's not been injured. He's played over 3,000 minutes. He's the only player in the squad to have done so. Gallagher close behind with 2,900 and something, if I'm not mistaken. And he's not been injured. He had a virus for 4 days. That's about it. Reliable. If you're reliable, you're playing. It's as simple as that. Disasi's going to play. Alongside him, now, I would, at this point, turn to Thiago Silva. Badiashile's just come back. Would you rush him in and you play him and risk him getting injured again? Because that's what happens at Chelsea. Players end up out and then they get injured. Talking about getting injured, does Thiago Silva ever get injured as well? Very, very rarely. He looks after himself. Listen, Thiago Silva needs to be on the pitch, but he's not going to be on the pitch and he's not going to play. And like I've said, I don't think we're going to see him again for the rest of the season. We'll be lucky to get him come on for maybe 15 minutes. Be lucky. Why? We know why. What happened before, his misses, Twitter, all of this, we know why. It's common knowledge now. There's been we don't really want Thiago in the team now because of what happened. That is still the case. I'm pretty sure Thiago Silva, for me, I don't think he'll play, but I feel like needs to play. So if I'm predicting, I reckon Badiashile will start alongside Disasi. But I would put Thiago on the pitch, especially against a Burnley team that I think are going to be a little bit on the back foot. I don't feel like they're going to come at us completely. They do play a little bit more expansively than they did compared to how they were under Sean Dyche. That's for sure. They're not a defensive team anymore. But that's where I feel like they'll be a bit concerned to leave space in behind. And they might go a little bit more conservative, which means that I feel like there should be enough room for us to control, dominate the game and alleviate some pressure off our defence, which is why I would rely on some experience in this situation. I'd put Thiago Silva in there, but again, people are going to complain about pace and they're going to say that he's not needed. I feel the opposite. Yes, he's not the quickest, but I feel like right now you could do with a Thiago Silva and he's not going to be involved. So on the right-hand side, Gusto, for sure. There's no questions here. He plays. One of the best players that we've had this season so far. And Cucurella will be on the left. 100%. Now, some would say that Cucurella, with Silva trying to cover him, will be suicide here. We'll see. Cucurella, for me, is the only left-back that we can logically turn to. No Chilwell. Cucurella starts, so he starts. That's it. So that's my back four. In midfield, listen, like I said, Enzo I don't think is going to feature. Caicedo will, 100%. He came back a little earlier, so Caicedo can definitely play. And alongside him, I think Conor Gallagher is the only option that we can put in the double pivot, even though that's technically not his role, not his best position, but can he do a job? Perhaps. The only thing that I worry about in this instance is Gallagher advancing too far forward, leaving Caicedo to die by himself, like he normally does when there's no one to help and protect him, and then we get caught out on all sorts of different counterattacks. That's what I'm concerned about in this, because we know Gallagher has a tendency to move forward, and if he does, there's going to be space left in behind. Enzo has kind of adapted a little bit better to not advance as much, to always be there alongside Caicedo, and likewise in terms of Caicedo for his partner. But Gallagher can sometimes end up basically next to the flipping goal. So if he's playing in a double pivot, he needs to be a little bit more conservative and not really bomb far forward. But again, we know Poch likes to tell his midfielders to go completely box to box. And I feel like that gives opportunity for the opposition to catch us out. So that's my only concern, but there's no one else we can turn to. Which is why I do say, don't be surprised if Enzo's going to be forced in. Don't be surprised. Would I? No, because I think he'll probably put in a stinker. He's just come back and he's had one session. I feel like he'll probably die after an hour. 60 minutes and I feel like his legs will go. So I wouldn't play him. Burnley, I wouldn't play him. I'd save him for Man United. Because that's the game we should all really be thinking about. Thursday. Now, tomorrow, Burnley. We can afford to do this. I would feel we can. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Going forward, Cole Palmer in the 10. Now, this is where I'm shaking things up a little bit, and I'm kind of going slightly against what I have tended to try and do lately, but I feel like it's for the greater benefit. It's for the benefit of the good, right? Cole Palmer in the 10. And again, normally Gallagher would be here, but there's no one to play alongside Caicedo if we were to rest Enzo. So for me, stick Palmer in the 10, shift him over. On the right-hand side, Madueke. Madueke, despite... I don't get caught up in the hype of, he's killed it at under 21 level, so he's now got to flip in, be incredible. Like, no. I do feel like he has done well at under 21 level. He's actually killing it there, to be honest. But the one thing is, for the other reason why I've adjusted the left wing, means that on the right wing, with Cole Palmer moving central, we need to play a right winger. And it wouldn't hurt playing a player like Madueke, who's just come with a little bit of form from the England under-21s. It is the under-21s, and I'm not hyping it up. But he's carrying form. And he left that feeling pretty confident. So you know what? This is what we're left with in order of team selection right now and the state of Chelsea Football Club. This is what we have to nitpick. But it's something. He comes with it. Let him play again against Burnley. I feel like we can afford to do this. So Madueke, I feel like won't put in a stinker. I feel like he'll put in a somewhat decent performance. And he did score a cracker against Leicester before we went on to the international break. So you know what? Madueke on the right-hand side, cool. For me, starts with Palmer in the middle. Now, on the left, like I said, this is where I go against what I've wanted to do lately. Mudryk on the left. Now, I'm doing this for two reasons. Reason number one, if it means that he plays on the left-hand side, but he comes in and he inverts and he cuts in central more frequently than he tended to do before when we were playing left wing, where he was just going up and down, up and down, up and down. If he were to tuck in and use those central spaces a little bit more, then cool, because I feel like he's more effective there. This is why I would keep playing him in the 10. But second reason is because I'm sorry, I can't have Sterling on the pitch. Simple as that. I can't. I can't. If I can't have Sterling on the pitch, who's playing left wing? It's Mudryk. And by the way, Mudryk scored for Ukraine in the international break, and Ukraine have, I think, made it. They've qualified. So congrats to Mudryk for that contribution that he made for Ukraine. But now, as long as he does have the facilities to come inside, I wouldn't mind him playing on the left. Just please don't go up and down like a yo-yo and bump into defenders like you were before. That's all I'm asking. Because that's where I got completely turned off in terms of Mudryk as a winger. And as a more of a 10, he's looked more comfortable and been a little bit more technical. So I would like to see more of that. If not, like I said before, I worry. Because I'm still not completely convinced about his level, but he deserves a chance. And he's shown us at the 10 that he can do something. Cool, run with it and show us what you got. So this is why I'm saying, come inside and use those spaces, but also for the sake of Sterling getting dropped, I would play Mudryk and I would prefer him in this game against Burnley. Up top, it's no debate, it's Jackson. He's the only striker we got at the club. And that's the situation we've left ourselves in. Now, Jackson's actually been somewhat better since he came back from AFCON. The Jackson we saw pre-AFCON to Jackson post-AFCON. Post-AFCON, definitely better. Better in the sense of we're seeing less mistakes. There's less errors. You can say same sort of output, but there's less errors. And that's a good thing because that was winding me up. So he definitely starts and hopefully he gets a goal or two tomorrow. That would be nice. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know yours down below. But that is my starting 11. As I ask you guys to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to catch the watch along tomorrow, because we will be here to catch this game live and watch it together. And on top of that, let me know your predictions in the comment section below. I'm about to give you mine. I am going to go with a 2-goal gap. I'm torn between 2-0 and 3-1. I don't know which one to go with, but I reckon one of them, and I'm going to go a 2-goal gap. I don't know why my gut is telling me 3-1 more than 2-0. So I'm going to go, you know what? I'll go 3-1. Burnley to score a goal. I can see it. Do we keep a clean sheet? We can, but do I see it? I wouldn't be surprised if we don't. But I reckon we win, and we win comfortably. So Burnley currently sitting in 19th, 3 points ahead of Sheffield United. It's a shambles over there, only up until recently. And Fofana, who has helped them, is not playing. So I just don't see how it's going to work for Burnley tomorrow. But you never know. With Chelsea nowadays, you never know. But I do feel like we'll get a comfortable win. So I'm going 3-1. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Much appreciated. And I will catch all of you tomorrow for the watch long. So I'll see all of you there and then the review after it's all said and done. But I'll catch you on the watch long, people. So I'll see you then. Thank you all so much. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. Take care and peace.